Now that we've looked at a simple example and how to create a sales order and process it, let's have a look at a sales order with batch and serial tracking. First, batch tracking. So here's a sales order that I've created. It's created in exactly the same way as we have previously. So we pop in all the customer details and sales order details at the top, add in the products just like we normally would. Here's where we can see the difference. On the batch column, you can see the number of products that are batch tracked, and we need to specify what batches those products are going to be coming from. We're in the sales order itself, and this is the starting point on batch tracking it out the door to our customer. Now what we're doing is at the sales order level, we're deciding what batch numbers are going to be shipped and invoiced. So I pop in the quantity that is going to be given to the customer out of the batch numbers required. For my particular example, let me grab one product out of our first batch and one out of our second batch here. They can come from exactly the same batch if needed, or we could select the oldest and go from there. Now of course we need the right number of products specified, otherwise our batch number will not turn green. Okay, once it's turned green, it's validated we have the right number of products and batches, and from there we can process the order. So we've allocated it on the sales order level, basically telling everybody else in the business what is going out to the customer. From here we're going to see those batch numbers on the shipment. So if I create a shipment here, we'll be able to see in the batch column the batch numbers that were specified on the sales order. This way our warehouse team know what products from what batches are going to go out to the customer. Now of course if we're only shipping one of the two today, we take the shipping quantity down, then we need to tell everybody else which one was going out the door. Again, we need to track right down to the product level what we're doing here. Now let's make it nice and easy. We'll ship both of them out today, and again we need to make sure our batch numbers are valid, so we have the right number of products going out of each batch. Once that's done, we can dispatch that shipment. Now on the shipping documentation, we do have on the ship note the batch numbers that are going out in that particular shipment. Now onto our invoices. So when we create our sales invoice, we also need to tell the invoice what batch numbers are going out to the customer. Again, if you're partially invoicing, so we're only invoicing one of the two, we need to specify what batch is going out with what invoice. So it's really nice and easy to track everything back. Also on the documentation for the invoice, we can see the batch numbers that were invoiced as well. Now let's move on to an example with serial numbers. So as we know, batch numbers are a collection of products that have a batch number and expiry date, where serial numbers are individual products tracked by a number. So in this example, we're selling 3 units of this particular serialized product, and we're selecting the serial numbers of the product that are going to be shipped, again at the order level. When we're processing a shipment, we're going to tell the customer what serial numbers have been shipped to them. And again, if we are not shipping everything out in one go, we need to specify the right serial numbers being dispatched in that shipment. We'd also see the serial numbers on the documentation, so on the ship note. We'd also see this on the invoice. So as I create my invoice, I have this serial column here as well. In this case, we're telling the customer, and for auditing purposes, what serial numbers are being invoiced. Again, if we're not invoicing the whole order, we need to specify the serial numbers that are going into that invoice. And again, we have the documentation to go along with that.